Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here, and it is what the heck time is it? 8:30 a.m. EST, as it always is, February the 7th. And taking a look at Bitcoin here, the question is WGMI, are we going to make it? And it looks like we might. If you look at this bit here, what you're seeing is a pop-up. Now, I'm not saying that it's not going to come back down, right? It could easily come back down, but for the moment, this is a little bit bullish. You had that major move down from the panic, from the sanctions, the immediate pop-up once those kind of were stepped back, if you will. And what you're looking at now is this sort of flag-like formation where price is kind of going sideways, but if you look at it, it's starting to bend upward just a little bit. Now, it could continue down. It doesn't mean it's going to bend upward. It doesn't mean it's going to pop up, but a lot of times this can end up as a bullish move upward. And if it were to break upward, then we could measure that move to some stop-off points, some target points. And one of them is about, I'd say 108 to be safe, and the other one's going to be about 105. But now, that doesn't take into account the algos, where those are at. I could tell you that the volatility has really fallen off ever since those events. And right now, high time frame, I do think that there needs to be some bears who are kicked out of the game. I think the bears need to be exhausted and the bulls need to kick it up a notch before price actually does move up with any meaningful bullishness on Bitcoin, right? So that's just how that is. Let's go ahead and take a look at Solana. So Solana is going to follow along with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin remains sideways, Solana will remain sideways to bearish, I think. I think Solana doesn't look quite as bullish as Bitcoin. There's a major shock upwards that we see here going back to the 13th of January when Trump released his coin just before the inauguration. And then, that cost a lot of money to flow into Solana. And now that money is flowing back out. And of course, we had the tariff shock that really drained it out. So that's what we're looking at there. And I don't expect anything to be very different. Like I said, if Bitcoin remains sideways to bearish, then Solana will do the same, but just a little bit more bearish. And I know a lot of people have their eyes on Ethereum. It just has not been impressive at all. So the dump down with Ethereum was pretty nasty. Okay, we'll take a look at Ethereum. Then we're going to get into the stock indices because they're going to have a lot to do with what the rest of the market does. And if we have time, we're going to take a look at some FX charts. But this move down was a 40% pull, right? Big move down. I think Bitcoin's move was like 15%. So you had a nasty move down on Ethereum at that time, all the way down to $2,000. That's brutal. And it's only sitting at 2,700. And, it did peak out at about 4,100. So you've had it actually cut 50% since December. I mean, that's brutal. Ethereum just is not performing. And that just is what it is. Monero, on the other hand, steady Eddie. That thing just continues up. It doesn't care. It doesn't care about nothing. Yeah, sure, it has these pullbacks. The pullback on Monero when the panic happened was pretty expectable. What was it? 20%. That's notable, but it's not, not as bad as some of the others. 40% on Ethereum is brutal. And it is continuing the upward trajectory that I drew going back to early December. This thing is really just kind of chugging along. So, that's good. Ripple really just has not recovered ever since its big move up. And that just is what it is. Ripple does that. It just has these big moves and then it just kind of gets pushed down. We'll see what happens with it. I'm not, I think with Ripple, it's going to have to be some announcement or something that really makes it go for the gusto. Let's move over to the indices, take a look at the SP 500. So you are looking at the SP 500 maintaining its sideways move, right? So it's been going sideways ever since mid-November, really. Actually, you could take that all the way back to October. and it's staying above, as it stands, $6,000 more or less. It kind of dipped below a couple times, but it really staying above there. And as the algos go, I do expect it to continue to go sideways, but more sideways than up. Right now, it could go ahead and grab that FOMO. Get people. I know the market itself. I know retail compared to institutions. Actually, retail is buying a lot, so we might see that trend continue. It might be the institutions are selling into retail. It might be that they're taking advantage. I'm not sure what's going on with institutional flows into these indices. That's what I'm not sure about. But I can tell you that each of these highs is lower, and that's a concern. Each of these highs is lower. So let's get rid of some of this mess. And I can show you that if you pay attention here, you got this high, and that high. Progressively lower each time. Not a good look, but I mean, as it goes, this can end up being bullish. For example, you saw it right here. You had a high, lower high, and then a massive move up. So it's not to say it can't end well, but for the moment, we're looking at an apparent stair step down. Just remember that with these indices, you get a lot of the plunge protection team, and they will keep the price from going down as long as they can, right? And there comes a time when they lose that capability, whether they run out of money or their efforts don't work. I don't know the inner workings of it. I know a little bit, but it seems that the plunge protection team is, if that's why this is holding up, then they're doing a decent job, because I know the tariffs did scare a lot of people. But like I said, the tariffs caused the dump, and then Mexico and Canada went ahead and bent the knee. And so the tariffs are not as much of a problem. Going to the Dow, looking a bit more bullish, kind of retesting these highs at about 45K. We'll see if it's able to go to maintain that sideways direction. It could. It's kind of at a flat, it's bullish high time frame, but I think the mid time frames, like the daily, might need to pull back a bit. Maybe we'll see. It might be able to hold up. It's really hard to say, because with all the markets, the volatility really has just kind of fallen off. There's not a lot of volatility, but I could say that this week it is being held up for sure. Whether or not it's the natural market and just the buyers holding it up, or whether you have a little bit of the plunge protection type scenario, either way, it's being held up. NASDAQ, I could say the same thing about the NASDAQ that I said about the SP 500. Same look, right? So just a complete, a continuous renegotiation of the local highs, sitting at about 21,900-ish. Although again, lower highs each time. So there is that look. And it looks like we're getting towards the end of the public live lab. So let me just take a quick look at my favorite market, Forex. Looks like our data came out. Rate was a little below. So you're getting mixed data here. You're getting mixed data when it comes to whether or not the dollar should be weak or strong. And that all came out just right as the show started. And so if you were to take a look at the charts and how they were affected, we could go to a low time frame to see that. And this is why I don't trade the news. This literally was just used to screw people. And that's pretty typical. You see that nasty wick right there? This is on like a 5-minute time frame. And so anybody who went long or short just got nuked out of their positions, right? It's just how it is, unless they really got lucky. Chances are whoever tried to trade this really got messed up, because you got this nasty wick top side, nasty wick bottom side. You got mixed news. You got a lot of money that kind of panicked in and out. And you just have a lot of players who know how to mess with charts that have a lot of money. I can almost guarantee you that's what happened here. There's not a good likelihood that retail caused this kind of price action, or even any traders per se. I think this was done to shake people out of their positions. So what do I see for the euro coming up here? I know it's kind of bullish short term, but that's short term. I think we're going to see a reflection where price continues this downward trend. It's hard to see with all that gobbledygook on the screen. So let me go like this to a different chart. And you'll notice that price has been continuously heading down. Now it's heading a bit sideways, and I think it will go sideways for a time, and then it'll eventually head down again. It might even pop up just to grab a little liquidity. We'll see about it. It's kind of 50-50 right now. Like, I think it's going to go sideways until it makes a move. This might be the range, might be a thicker range. And then eventually price is either going to probably pop up, and it might take weeks. I mean, this is a high time frame deal. But I think price might pop up to maybe here, or it might actually pop down and go down to this area right here at this old support from way back here. So that's what I expect with Forex, and that's going to reflect as well on the GBP USD. So unless the market really loses its mind, I should be able to do a Sunday show this week. Last week just had a lot going on. So we'll get to that. Thank you for watching. We're going to head over to the Algo Factory private live lab. And this is where we continue. We have all of our Algo Factory paid members in there. They'll ask for charts. Oftentimes, the Guerilla will come in and give us kind of the insight as to what's happening at that higher level. We got a lot of really great stuff going on at algofactory.tech. Come pay us a visit. We teach you how to build your own trading method, right? We teach you how to treat your trading like a business. And that's actually one of the biggest mistakes that people make. They think, oh, well, I can make myself a good trading plan, a good trading algo, and all I have to do is use that. And that's actually not the best. So I'm getting a message that my audio is cutting out. I hope that is fixed. I hope that is not on my end. We'll see about it. For the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and say see you later, and we'll head over to the Algo Factory Live Lab. Never, ever forget.
Join us or die.